Well, baby Watson chose a nice quiet week to be born, didn't he? After a 17-year-old of Rwandan migrant heritage. No, sorry, a Welshman born in Cardiff launched a savage knife attack that left 3 girls dead in Southport. Absolute unbridled chaos unfolded across England.
That's going to go in a minute, mate. All these cows are gone. Every one of these.
In towns and cities across the nation, angry anti-mass migration demonstrators fought running battles with police, set fire to buildings and engaged in violent confrontations with left-wing and Muslim counter-demonstrators.
Oh shit, man, they're in. They're in. Oh wow.
In Stoke, mobs of diverse chaps rampaged through the streets looking for revenge. Similar scenes in Bolton where armed gangs chanted Allah Akbar. Before targeting lone individuals. Others physically attacked lone white people in Middlesbrough. In Leeds, people wearing Union Jacks were set upon. But strangely, the media barely included any of this in their reporting. And in some cases, the reporters deleted the videos entirely. Sky News condemned an attack on a taxi, while conveniently failing to mention the tooled-up mob right behind them carrying machetes and blunt weapons.
And look very pleased about it whilst they did it. Then there was this, as I say, clash between protesters and the police, and that is when they then ran off across the park here. A big group ran off looking for trouble, it looked like to us. So we're just going to step away now from this group behind us. But
this video is sponsored by InVideo AI. With InVideo AI, you can turn any content or idea into a publish-ready video instantly. Let me quickly walk you through how to use the program. Just start with a simple text prompt and it creates the first rough draft for you. For example, create a video about the dangers of mass migration. Make it serious and use an authoritative British male voiceover. Include vivid and creative examples to illustrate your points. You can then choose the audience, the look and feel of the video, and the platform on which you're planning to upload the video. Check out what InVideo AI produced in just a few minutes.
Mass migration, especially when uncontrolled, can pose significant challenges. Picture a small town suddenly having to accommodate twice its population. Schools become overcrowded, hospitals struggle to meet demand, and the job market is flooded.
If you're not happy with the first variation, you can then use the edit command box and give text-based commands to fine-tune everything. Add subtitles, change the voiceover, change the intro to make it more impactful. You can then change any scene using footage from the library or use your own. If you want to change parts of the script, you can do that too, and the video will regenerate to represent the changes. InVideo AI really puts you in the driving seat, while doing all the heavy lifting as your personal sidekick, alleviating much of the stress associated with the painstaking tasks of things like editing and scripting, and finding relevant footage so you can bring your ideas to life. But if you're impressed by all that, wait until you hear about this. Another mind-blowing feature is that you can clone your own voice and make it narrate the video in your voice in any language. Think of the amount of time and money you'd save with that feature alone. Imagine a city suddenly having to support thousands of new residents. Imagina una ciudad que de repente tiene que mantener a miles de nuevos residentes. See, you didn't know I could speak Spanish? You can get started with InVideo AI for free and create up to 4 free videos with a watermark. But if you're serious about video creation and want to publish videos without a watermark, which I highly recommend, you should upgrade to the paid plan, which starts as low as $20 a month, giving you access to voice cloning, high quality stock footage, and much more. A package that would cost you hundreds of dollars if you sourced them individually. Just go down to the link in the description and use my code to get twice the number of video generation credits in your first month. Many people see AI as a threat to jobs, but InVideo AI exemplifies how it can actually help you level up your skills. It's obvious to me why InVideo AI is the world's most used AI video creator, with over 10 million users across 150 plus countries. Please check it out by clicking the link in the description box down below. The 2-tier system of policing, one of the very things that fueled the riots, was also on full display. Police telling Muslim Muslim counter-protesters to politely leave their weapons at the mosque, while offering reassuring words that they were there to protect them.
Yeah, we understand. Yeah, that's fine.
I just need you to understand we're not against you guys. We're
No,
here to help and protect you.
We all understand. We all understand.
When asked about two-tier policing, police chiefs weren't too keen on discussing it.
Are we going to end two-tier policing, sir?
And I just want to show you that again. That question from that reporter about two-tier policing. You'll see the Met Police Commissioner grabs the grey implement. That's the microphone. Here it is.
And amidst all the chaos, we're forced to endure the same political class and media that tacitly endorsed and lionised the 2020 BLM riots, denounced the 2024 anti-mass migration riots as nothing more than far-right extremism.
This is not protest. It is organised, violent thuggery.
The same Prime Minister who literally took a knee in response to BLM riots, along with numerous Metropolitan Police officers in London who did the same, now inform us that somehow this is totally different.
Be in no doubt,
I was shocked.
those that have participated in this
the
violence
killing of George Floyd
will face the full
and the
force
response
of the law.
President Trump.
The police
and the US
will be
authorities
making arrests.
To the peaceful
individuals
protests,
will be
to
held
people
on
rightly
remand.
demanding justice.
Charges will follow,
been an affront to
and
humanity.
convictions will
The last
follow.
week has shone a
I
spotlight
guarantee
on the racism,
you will regret taking part in this
discrimination
disorder,
and injustice
whether directly
experienced
or
by
those
those
whipping
from
up
black
this
and
action
minority ethnic
online
communities
and then
in the
running
US,
away themselves.
in the UK,
This is
and
not
across
protest.
the world.
It is
Martin
organised,
Luther King
violent
said,
thuggery.
injustice anywhere
And it has no
is a
place
threat to justice
on our...
In 2020, violent attacks against police officers were part of largely peaceful anti-racism protests. But in 2024, violent attacks against police officers are nothing less than serious violence. The George Floyd riots were a brave fight against injustice. Meanwhile, same woman.
Let's be very clear. This has not been about protest. This has been about violence and thuggery.
In 2011, the UK was besieged by similar riots that were started as a result of police killing a black criminal. The media's response then? Well, once again, it was somewhat different. They challenged the depiction of the rioters as mindless criminals, compared the rioters to South African freedom fighters, and said nice kids were being put behind bars. In 2011, the looting of shoe shops was characterised as part of a new global revolution caused by a corrupt global elite inequality in the 2008 financial crisis. In 2024, those exact same people characterised it as criminal opportunism. A riot is the voice of the unheard. Unless white working class people do it, then it's far-right extremism. When the native white working classes start rioting, the lack of community centres and ping-pong tables are all of a sudden not the reason why. Is decades of mass migration to blame? No, all white working class are far-right thugs. The scenes in Rotherham today are among the most wicked Britain has ever witnessed. Really? Matthew must have missed the 1,400 children being groomed in Rotherham over the course of more than a decade. And while fires being set and the windows of migrant centres being smashed may indeed be shocking, some might argue that dozens of kids being maimed and killed by a suicide bomber at the Manchester Arena is a little more wicked than a riot outside a hotel. Some would argue there's wicked and then there's really wicked. Good grief, just imagine if this was by a minority community. Yeah, we don't need to imagine it literally happened 2 weeks beforehand in Hare Hills, Leeds. Instead of attempting to interrogate exactly why the riots started, Keir Starmer decided to pour a huge vat of kerosene all over them. In direct contrast to how they described BLM rioters, mostly peaceful, Starmer demonised every single protester as a right-wing extremist. And anyone who attempted to challenge this narrative was swiftly censored.
What I'm saying is, you have to be very careful now with tempers the way they are, and people's sense of angst of what had gone on in the preceding couple of days, where you'd had an army officer stabbed in the back, the misleading representation in the northwest where this occurred.
That's a different case there, Kevin, so we'll leave it there. That's Kevin Hurley.
They're not. You're missing the point. All of you are missing the point. People conflate this, and they make and I think they make five.
We're worsening that conflation by mentioning the two cases together here, so we'll leave it there. Thank you. Kevin Hurley, who's the former Detective Chief Superintendent. police.
And the UK's most senior police commissioner issued a statement calling on the government to acknowledge the real cause of the riots, the devastating consequences of mass uncontrolled immigration. His words were swiftly condemned and deleted from the internet. Seems like one of the only mainstream outlets that has been a source of reasoned inquiry into the actual origins of the riots has been GB News.
The way to stop this is start to actually ask the question, why? Why are these riots happening? We should obviously condemn them. We should condemn people attacking police officers, setting things on fire. But we need to ask the question is, what has happened to this country that a large group of people feel silenced? They cannot speak. They cannot speak about the problems of mass immigration. And when you do, you're labelled, even people on the right or left, you know, you're common sense people who want to have these discussions, you're labelled as a far-right person. Now we're actually seeing the real far-right in this country rising. And the reason for that is they've been silenced for a long time. We ignore the fact that 80% of this country is actually white. We are constantly not prepared to ask deeper level questions. When BLM riots happened in 2020, the media coverage, the social media coverage was all asking the question, why? Why do black people feel the way they feel in this country, in America? But no one seems to be prepared to ask these questions towards these group of people. Instead, they want to put them all in a box of crazy white EDL far-right people, rather than actually sitting there saying, what has happened to this country? Will Sir Keir Starmer actually wake up and actually do something to this, or will we turn into France where this is just going to keep on happening on a regular basis? So I think to stop these riots, we need to have a much more serious conversation about how to stop crime in this country, how to stop certain ethnic groups getting an advantage in terms of not being prosecuted by the police. We saw it in Rotherham with those young girls who were getting exploited. We need to have some serious questions about this. Until then, I don't think the riots will stop.
And now they're calling for that whole network to be shut down. Labour's Rachel Reeves said in 2016 mass uncontrolled immigration would cause riots. And now it has. But suddenly we're not allowed to identify the origin of the unrest. Now the authoritarian response that was somehow beyond reach for dealing with violent crime, mass illegal immigration and grooming gangs has swung into action virtually overnight to deal with the unruly protesters.
I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online.
24-hour courts, home raids.
Please open the door! Is someone in? Get the door through the glass.
Mass online censorship, the introduction of Islamophobia blasphemy laws, a return to COVID-style curfews and lockdowns.
In COVID, they were prepared to back measures that were needed in that situation. I think they would take a similar approach to keeping rioters off the streets now.
Which of course weren't applied when BLM rioted, and after Labour announced a plan to release criminals onto the streets because of a capacity crisis in prisons, suddenly there's plenty of capacity to imprison the rioters.
There are prison places available as well. There are already people who are in custody right now as we speak, and we should be clear, there will be people who are thinking they're going on their summer holiday this week, and instead they're going to be facing a knock on the door and a police cell as a result of what they have done.
And while it may be fair to characterise the rioting as extremist in nature, how would one characterise a sustained government policy over the course of decades, which no one wanted, no one ever voted for, namely the accelerated importation at great cost to the public, both financially and in terms of their safety, of millions of people who despise us. A government policy that has turned large areas of towns and cities into unrecognisable crime-ridden hellholes. Is that not extremist in nature too? If you value what I do and you want to help support me, please visit pauljosephwatson.locals.com and either pledge a one-time donation or subscribe to join my community, get early access videos and message me directly. And exclusive live streams coming soon too. Promise. Check out the Locals link down in the description. And don't forget to take a look at the brand new website modernity.news. That's where you'll find all my content, including exclusive articles. That's modernity.news.